and the alchemy of science. A pristine dark blue background, floating glowing terms, axioms and logic. They snap together with mathematical elegance. From their convergence, a beautiful 3D crystalline geometric structure emerges. Text overlays. Theory equals axioms plus logic. A resonance tone, clear and confident. A slow, steady electronic track starts, conveying deep focus and intellectual authority. What is a scientific theory? Many believe it is a loose basket of experimental observations or a list of statistical correlations. But true science is rigorous. A theory is a self-consistent deductive system built upon a simple law. Theory equals axioms plus logic. A theory is our essential cognitive mapping of the physical world. It defines a set of crisp concepts, mental models that represent the true essence of reality. If your core concepts are correct, your mapping is true. But if you copy mathematical equations and graft onto them fictitious false concepts, your entire framework collapses into modern scholastic alchemy. Let us use this lens to decouple and expose the truth behind the 5 critical wave electrodynamics and circuit theories, resolving a decades-long confusion. Scene 2. The unshakable column. Transmission line theory. A schematic circuit diagram of a twin-wire transmission line. Waves are represented as sine waves traveling back and forth. Energy flux vectors are perfectly animated in gold. Text, transmission line theory, foundational ground. High-tech electronic hum, crisp and precise. At the foundation of wave physics stands transmission line theory. Originally formulated by Oliver Heaviside, it treats wave propagation as a distributed parameter process. It is derived directly from Maxwell's equations under TEM wave boundaries. Transmission line theory is an absolute immutable truth. It is not relatively correct or temporary. It has been validated across countless fields, from high-speed digital computing to continental power lines. It is impossible to overturn. But here is the crucial catch. Transmission line theory is a foundational generic theory. It is entirely material blind. It does not contain any material-specific vocabulary about internal absorbing, thermal damping, or molecular dissipation mechanisms. It describes the physical boundaries of waves, but says absolutely nothing about how wave atoms exhaust their energy inside absorber materials. Scene 3. The Golden Alchemy. The Flawed Impedance Matching and Absorption. An animation of waves hitting a thin gray film. High-contrast diagrams show what materials journals claim. Wave smoothly enters due to matching Zin equals Z0 and is absorbed by local structures. Then a red X stamps over it. The scene shifts to reveal the true wave physics. Reflection from the front boundary and reflection from the rear metal plate colliding and canceling each other out. Bold white text appears. Destructive interference. A subtle metallic rattle signaling an intellectual alarm or correction. And this is where mainstream materials science went catastrophically wrong. 50 years ago, researchers borrowed the input impedance equation from transmission line theory, but they completely misinterpreted what the resulting zero reflection meant. They created the impedance matching theory of microwave absorption. They claimed that to achieve zero reflection, the material must achieve impedance matching to allow waves to enter where they are consumed by molecular or magnetic resonance of the material's structure. They propagated a fundamental conceptual error. The more incident wave enters, the greater the material's attenuation, and therefore the higher the overall microwave absorption. But this is an absolute ontological error. Zero reflection in single-layer and multi-layer films is not caused by microstructural absorption. It is caused by waveplane interference. When all incident microwave enters the material completely under perfect boundary matching, there is no front boundary reflection to collide with. That means no wave interference can ever occur, and no strong absorption peak can ever be generated. Without interference, absorption is merely slow, linear path attenuation, nothing more. By misattributing a macro wave physics property back into material structures, researchers spent 50 years synthesizing useless composite alloys that led to zero major breakthroughs. Mainstream materials journals have been printing professional alchemy for half a century. Scene 4. SafePort Engineering. Circuit Impedance Matching a Modern Circuit Board. Highlighted regions show a RF amplifier, an IC chip, and an antenna pole. Text. Circuit Impedance Matching Port Power Transfer. Relaxed, steady jazz, or smooth synthesizer bassline. Now you might ask, what about impedance matching theory in microwave circuits? Does it suffer from the same fatal error? The answer is no. Circuit impedance matching is an engineering application theory. RF, circuit engineers do not care about and make no ontological claims regarding the molecular or material level wave dissipation mechanisms inside the load substrate. Their focus is solely on maximizes power transfer efficiency between the source port and the terminal load port. Because circuit matching theory remains strictly silent on the physical molecular mechanism of wave dissipation inside the physical atoms of the substrate, it does not commit the ontological error of misattributing wave interference as material resonance. It is mathematically and functionally valid for its defined scope. No more, no less. Scene 5. The disciplinary ascent. Wave mechanics of microwave absorption. A stunning 3D wave simulation. Multiple boundary planes are shown. A wave enters and gets trapped in a continuous multi-pass loop of reflection and counter-reflection, gradually fading to zero. Text. Wave mechanics of microwave absorption, disciplinary theory. A rising, inspiring orchestral theme, capturing the dawn of a new paradigm. The proper disciplinary theory for wave-absorbing films is the modern wave mechanics theory of microwave absorption. This is not merely a semantic re-explanation of transmission line equations. It is an independent disciplinary theory. It utilizes transmission line mathematics as its foundation, but establishes an entirely new, correct conceptual system. Wave mechanics corrects the core concept of microwave absorption. It proves a beautiful, counterintuitive truth. The less incident microwave initially enters the material, meaning higher front reflection, the greater the potential absorption peak. Why? Because if the wave that does enter reflects off the back boundary and returns to the front interface, and if this returned wave is strong enough to cancel that large front reflection via destructive interference, then a remarkably powerful absorption peak is obtained. This is exactly the opposite of the impedance matching dogmas. Moreover, wave mechanics doesn't rely on forced ratios or artificial proportions to make things fit. It captures the true mechanism by unifying wave coherence, interference, and material physical attenuation into a single organic wave field boundary value problem. Because it models the electromagnetics exactly as they exist in reality, the correct relationships and results naturally and perfectly emerge, matching experimental results flawlessly. It accounts for both factors completely and accurately, revealing the true essence of how thin films dissipate electromagnetic energy. To understand this hierarchy, think of electromagnetism and magnetism physics. Electromagnetism is the foundational theory. Magnetism physics is the disciplinary theory. It is not a trivial subset of electromagnetism. It built its own distinct concepts like magnetic domains, exchange interactions, and hysteresis. In exactly the same way, transmission line theory is the foundation. The wave mechanics of microwave absorption is the discipline. It is the absolute truth that has rescued microwave materials science from the dead end of scholastic alchemy. Read the complete mathematical papers and deconstructions on Substack and SSR, and thank you for watching.